Alright, so Nogi this week we're working on straight jacket system on the back, and so we'll jump right into it. I'm going to get my hooks in to start. So again, this is just like a scoring position in Jiu-Jitsu, putting my hooks in place and having some form of control of the upper body. I'll start off with my seatbelt grip, and just a couple of things as we kind of make our way through. We'll talk about a few different leg positions that we can use to keep the person in place here. But generally, when I'm looking for a choke submission, I want one arm above and one arm below. If I go two arms below, I get really good control of this person, but I will have basically no opportunity at submission. And if I go two arms above, I might have like a lot of opportunity at submissions, but I'm going to have absolutely no control over the person's shoulders, so they're going to be able to scoot out. So usually, we're going to want one above and one below. And the arm that's above is my choking hand, and I always want to protect that hand. So I'm going to cover it up with my hand that's underneath here. And so once we get to this position, for the straight jacket, we're going to fall to the weak side here with my head towards the ground. So in addition to my hooks in place, my seatbelt, the entire time I'm on someone's back, I want my chin acting almost like an arm. I'm going to use the chin right on the trap here, and it's going to stay fixed there the whole time. As I'm talking, I'll bring my head up to kind of communicate here, but in a roll, I want my head right next to Luke's head so it looks like he's got two heads. So first things first, we're going to fall to the weak side. So as we dip to the weak side, I'm going to look to get a body triangle in place. So when I get my body triangle, I've got a few options here. But to get it, I'm going to take my top foot, press on the hip here, and lift my bottom foot. And I just want to try and get my toes around the outside of the thigh. If I can get a nice little grab there with my left foot, I usually have some pretty good control. And then I can reinforce it with my right leg. I can go further and get a full body triangle if my legs are long enough, if my hip mobility is good enough, and if my partner's waist is narrow enough. A lot of things will come into play, but this is a really good one to start with. If you can get your toes on the outside of the thigh and kind of hook here, and then reinforce it with your top leg, it works really nicely. If that doesn't work, I also really like the half-back position right here. So crossing my feet on top of the hip on the back side, this works really nicely too. Allows me to kind of work towards trapping an arm. Gives me really good control, and certainly if I get a free shot at the rear naked choke, I can finish it with this position here. But we're going to start off with this modified body triangle. Right, I'm going to work from here. Now, as Luke's hands come up, he's obviously going to be defending. The first hand fight that I want to win here is bringing my left hand around, circling, and getting a grip on the top side hand here. So my hand has a top side grip of Luke's bottom hand. Now, of course, as soon as I get some control here, I am going to shoot for a rear naked choke, and Luke is not going to let me do that. So he's going to get a nice grip down at my thumb, because he wants maximal leverage there. If he goes a little higher on the wrist, I can still kind of like start walking my hand up. So he's going to grab at my thumb and start pulling this down towards him. So I'm going to feint a couple chokes here so that I get a nice strong reaction from Luke. And when I go for it and he pulls down, I can then shuck my hand straight down, extend my elbow, and then take my leg up and look to make a body triangle right here. Sorry, not a body triangle, arm trap. Once I get that arm trap, I like to just reinforce this. Okay, because as soon as I have this trap, I want to do everything I can to keep it trapped. So I'll reinforce this, and now I'm going to look for my rear naked choke. So I've got my arm trap. I've got both arms preoccupied, which is why we fell to the weak side in the first place. And now I make my hand very small. I walk it under the chin, and once I get around the back side, I can either finish with a single arm rear naked choke or pull my elbow out, slide my hand over my forearm, and get just a standard rear naked choke. So my right hand is going to go into my bicep. My knuckles of my left hand go behind the head. I'm going to drop my chin over my forearm and start to retract my right elbow around the neck. So once again, very quickly, going through the straight jacket itself. Here, got my hooks in place, my seatbelt grip, I'm hiding my hand, my chin is right on top of the trap. We fall to the side, I take my top leg and feed the right leg of Luke's underneath my hook here, and then I reinforce it. Once again, I can go with a full body triangle here if you want a little bit more stability and control. From here, I pummel my left hand around, and I make my first straight grip on this hand. And then I allow Luke to get this indirect grip on my right hand, my choke. So I fake the choke going up, I open and push this right hand of Luke's down, and then I'm going to take my heel over, get it under the elbow, and put my foot behind his back. Now I can start to work my rear naked choke, getting my hand nice and flat under the chin, come around, cover my hand, get a single arm rear naked choke, or retract my elbow, slide my hand in place, right hand on the bicep, left hand behind Luke's head, chin over my forearms, and then retract my elbow, pressing off of my bicep. So this is going to be the first hand fighting position of the straitjacket system that we're going to look at, and we'll build off of that to get to slightly more advanced grip control.